Something strange is going on with bike geometry these days, and we need to talk about it. Hey everybody, Nick from Tri-Rig here. Just a quick video today to talk about a new trend that we've been seeing a little bit of here at Tri-Rig, what we think about it and what you think about it. We're really curious to see how you react to this. Please let us know in the comments. So over the past, 20 years, the sport of triathlon has really grown and matured, both from a technical perspective in terms of how people approach the sport, and in terms of the larger community around it, how people see the sport, how people consume the sport, how it's being viewed and enjoyed by spectators all over the world. And when it comes to the bike leg, of course, we at Tri-Rig are super interested in how this evolution has been happening and what people are doing. And we've talked quite a bit about how positions are evolving, especially at the front end of the field, with people getting longer and actually higher in terms of stack. They're tilting their arms up. Times are falling, the positions are getting faster. And this goes hand in hand with the technical development of the equipment itself. So specifically, to achieve these positions, people need to be able to move both their aero bars forward and up, and to tilt the arm cups and the extensions upward, but they also have to have their saddle in the appropriate place to accommodate those kinds of positions. Now, for a long time, the sort of standard triathlon seat tube angle has been 78.5, 79 degrees. This is a standard developed by Dan Empfield decades ago, and it was obviously the right choice then, and it continues to be today. Yet, we still see some manufacturers wanting to go back to the past with slacker seat tube angles. And from our perspective at Tri-Rig, we think this is the mistake. But let's talk about this a little bit and take a look. And I'm going to pick on a company here called Factor because they have two bikes that really sort of exemplify this trend and what's going on with it. And they ordinarily do great stuff, so I think it's fair for me to be sort of punching up at Factor here, not punching down at maybe a company that's newer and doesn't really know what they're doing, but Factor absolutely does. So let's take a look here at their lineup of bicycles. They have the Hanzo bike, that's been sort of their flagship for a while, and then they have the new Factor Slick that has just come out. So first, let's take a look at the Hanzo over here. This is a very well-designed bicycle, really good stuff going on with this thing, and it has a 78-degree seat tube angle. And of course, the angle is just the nominal angle. There's a little bit of fore-aft adjustment depending on exactly where the saddle clamp is and whether or not there's adjustability in the clamp. This bike doesn't appear to have it, right? And the clamp is basically right dead center of that post. So 78 degrees is the angle of that seat tube. And if you need to go fore or aft from that, then really your saddle needs to be able to accommodate that, or you need to be able to shift fore and aft enough on the saddle to accommodate your preferred position. So there's one example, and we would call this good and a pretty good example of triathlon bike geometry, although we'd love to see a little bit more adjustability in where that saddle clamp goes. That's of course why our bike, the Omni, has a really long saddle clamp area on top of the post so that you can go fore aft quite a bit in either direction. But there's the Hanzo. Now let's take a look at their brand new Slick, and they call this a pure triathlon bike. So it does have a little bit more range in terms of where the saddle clamp goes. You can see that that clamp is on a rail. It's on the Ritchie rail, the same one we use on our bike. And that fore-aft adjustability is super helpful. But this bike is built with a 76-degree seat tube angle. That is super slack and definitely not built to accommodate modern positions. Let's even take a look at the photos they have here as their exemplar. I wouldn't call this a great position, and I'm not sure why they chose to pick this particular athlete on this particular bike. This is a position that I would really want to change. I would love to rotate this entire athlete forward about the bottom bracket, bring the hands up a bit. This position to me does not look either like it's super comfortable, nor like it's super aerodynamic. And I think there's a ton of room for improvement here. And the bike is really just demonstrating that this 76-degree angle is not quite what we want for modern triathlon environments. Let's take a look at a couple of pictures from Kona. And, you know, the common objection when we show images of pros at Kona is, hey, this is a pro at Kona, and this isn't, you know, exemplary of modern age groupers or what I'm going to do on my bicycle. And I think that's a totally bogus argument. What the pros do, especially today, is generally exactly what most age groupers should be doing or striving for. If you see a good pro position, that's a position that's comfortable, and not just because they're a pro. All of the principles that enable them to ride at those power levels for that amount of time and then get off the bike and run so well are the same principles that you can use yourself in setting up your bicycle for your best race. So all these guys, as you're seeing, they are way out front. So whatever the nominal angle of this Scott Plasma is, he is far forward of that right here. And that's a pattern we just see over and over again with modern positions. And so it's something I've been thinking about, and we've been thinking about at TriRig as we see new bikes emerging with these slacker seat tube angles, thinking, what is going on? That slacker angle generally translates into a shorter reach frame as well, which again goes against the modern trend of this longer reach position. So we're fascinated by it. We're so interested in it. We think examples like that, like the new Slick, are a step backwards, but we really want to hear what you all out there think. Let us know in the comments, and that's going to be all for today, but definitely tell us what you think, and we will see you back here next time. Thanks so much for watching. See you then.